everybody? Welcome back to Thoughts from the Round Table podcast. I am your host, Pierce McCammon. I have another host,
Jacob Keith.
Today we're going to be talking about Joker.
This movie came out a few months ago, and it just got done winning a couple Oscars. Two, I believe. One for Best Actor and one for Best Score. Today, we're going to just talk about what we think of the movie, what we think, the score, the acting, how do we compare it to other, Joker performances? Because I think that was the big question I had seeing this movie.
I mean, there are some real titans of the industry. You have Heath Ledger, you have Jack Nicholson, you even have Mark Hamill, who did the voice in, the cartoons, he did in the Arkham games, and, I mean, they're pretty good.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good laugh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we'll be talking about today. So, why don't you take a seat at the round table? So we're going to really start off by talking about the performance in this movie, mainly by Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah, probably one of the best performances I've ever seen. The way he just used his body as a way to express the feelings that his character Arthur Fleck is feeling is, really hard to come by in movies.
It's disgusting to watch. It's truly one of the most uncomfortable movies you could ever imagine sitting through. It makes you squirm in your seats. There's a lot of times where I was just ugh.
Yeah, we watched it Tuesday night, and all I can say is, man, was I sad I watched that movie again.
Yeah, it's
not even because the movie's bad. I
good
genuinely
movie.
really like the movie.
It's well done.
Super well done.
Gosh, but I don't want to ever watch it again. To be honest.
It makes you so uncomfortable. It's not like most superhero movies where you can sit down and say, "Oh, I can't wait to watch Guardians of the Galaxy for the seventh time."
Yeah.
I can't even imagine myself saying that with Joker.
I wouldn't. That was my second time watching it. Jacob subjected himself to
That's my fourth
torture,
time.
3 other times.
Yeah, I went twice in the movies, so.
That's gross.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of sick fantasy you were fulfilling.
Okay, no. Oh God. My mom listens to this. Yeah, the only reason I saw it twice in theaters is because our friend Ethan wanted to see it, and he didn't go with us the first time.
Yeah. I don't know. That was my second time watching it, though, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I would not be sad if I never watched it again.
Yeah, I can really appreciate the art that the movie is.
Because it's a beautifully shot movie, too.
Great score.
Yeah. It's an experience to watch. If you haven't watched it, you should definitely at least watch it once, because it leaves an impression.
Yeah. I think, this is one of those movies that these come out every once in a while where they're like, man, this is going to be a film that actors will look up to and say, I want to have a movie like this one day.
Yeah.
He definitely deserved the awards he won for it.
Oh, for sure. And I think it really sets a good, precedent that all comic book movies don't have to be, cheesy Marvel movies.
Sure.
Because they can actually, tackle serious topics and do it well and even tastefully.
Yeah, and I think this is a real turning point for superhero movies just in general.
Oh, I think so. It has to be.
Yeah, just the serious nature of it. It's not like it's the first, because there have been superhero movies rated R, Deadpool,
yeah,
Birds of Prey, etc. But this is the first one it's not funny.
Yeah.
It's sad, gloomy, something a superhero movie sometimes struggles with.
Yeah. And I mean this is a monumental year, or this was a monumental year for superhero movies in general.
Yeah.
Or I guess you wouldn't say all of this year, because did Joker come out 2020?
Came out 2019.
Yeah, so it was in that monumental superhero movie year. You had Endgame come out.
Yep.
And I mean, say what you want about Endgame, no one can deny how impressive a feat that movie is.
Right. I mean, it's just so well done.
It's so well done. I personally am not the biggest fan of the movie.
Neither am I.
But gosh, it is incredible to watch.
And they sure did get people into seats.
Oh my gosh. And that's one of those movies where maybe it's not my favorite Marvel movie ever, but gosh, that might be one of the most iconic.
Yeah, I'll remember watching that.
That's an
15,
experience.
15 years from now, I hope I'll remember going to see Endgame on opening night.
Yeah, because it was crazy.
It was unreal.
And I mean, that plus like Joker plus what other
Aquaman
movie?
came out.
Aquaman
2019.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't say that's a turning point.
Yeah, but it was good.
I mean, it was good. 2019 was a good year for superhero movies.
Yeah.
And I guess you wouldn't call Joker like a superhero movie because there wasn't really a hero. It wasn't really about like somebody with like abnormal strength or powers. It was like the opposite.
Yeah. It was very well done, but also like very sad. And some movies kind of struggle to capture the gloom of a movie, but just like the set design, the costumes, I guess you could say, like the outfits people wore, captured not only like what he was going through, but like the time period they set it in. Just such a well done movie.
So well done, and I mean, it is a cinematic like marvel.
Yeah,
like, it's beautiful. That's something you don't get with superhero movies. Like you watch a Marvel movie, there's tons of great video essays that I've watched out on YouTube. Just look up like Marvel movie dull, you'll find one like about how like bland and boring the cinematography is for a lot of Marvel movies, but like this is just beautiful to watch. The visual storytelling through like the camera movement, through the angles is incredible.
Yeah, I think that's something this movie's kind of underrated for almost.
Yeah.
Because there are some shots whenever he's sitting in a car, like when he's sitting in the taxi in the end scene, right, in the police car in the end scene, and they figured out how to shoot that through the glass while the car is moving.
Yeah,
that's an unreal shot.
It's so good.
Yeah, but the thing that really stood out to this movie when I watched it, the 4 times I did, and when you watch it, I assume, and when really everyone watches it, is Phoenix's performance.
Yeah, it's really.
And I think you know, something. Joker is one of the most famous villains,
if not the most famous villain.
Yeah, in TV, movies, comic books, whatever you name it, Joker is so well known.
He's iconic.
Yeah. So how do you compare Phoenix's performance to other Jokers?
Are you asking me personally?
Yeah.
Well, that's tough because Phoenix's Joker is so different than the other Jokers portrayed like on screen. Phoenix's Joker isn't really a villain in the sense that he fights a hero, which is something that, the Joker obviously goes hand in hand with the Batman, And so like to not see Batman in the story, which is what worried me when I first heard about Joker, because like could Joker carry his own movie,
Right.
But like the absence of Batman creates such a like different character than like say Heath Ledger's performance when he was going up against Christian Bale. I think that is a better Joker in the sense of the Joker we all know.
Yeah, the Joker.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, Heath Ledger's Joker is his mission is to fight Batman.
Yeah, Heath Ledger's Joker is like Joker. This Joker is more of like a different take. It's less traditional.
Yeah, and this Joker also is. We don't really know a lot. I mean, sure, the whole movie's about him, but we don't really know his purpose for this.
No.
And that's another thing. This movie, I don't know if I had one complaint. It has a ton of unknowns.
Yeah, and I think that's more of like the point of the movie, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's plot holes, because I think it covers the plot well, but I think there's just so much that the audience member doesn't know what's going on. And like Pierce said, it's kind of part of the movie.
Yeah, it's like, we were watching this with our roommate who, not to sugarcoat this, but sometimes has trouble understanding.
Or remembering. It was his second time watching this, by the way. We watched it one weekend, and he had to ask me the same questions over and over again.
And I think I can partially attribute that because, like, Joker is, like, a confusing movie.
Sure.
Like, there is some parts where you're like, oh, I don't know really what's going on because that's the point of the movie. But, like, I think it's highlighted more because, like, usually when we watch a movie with him, it's like, he'll pipe up, like, every couple times asking us to clarify. This was, like, every scene.
Yeah. If not more.
And we had to like explain things just over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It got to the point where I'm like, man, is this movie just really, really confusing?
See, I don't think it's that confusing, you know?
Yeah.
And it explains a lot of the parts that you might find confusing at first. Like him and the one girl that he supposedly dates. You think, why would this woman ever go out with this crazy man?
Because he's a hunk.
No.
Kind of cute, though.
No. Okay. To continue my point, why would this woman ever go out with a guy like this? And it, shows it never happened.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of the movie. I think through that, it implies that, like, well, did this scene happen? Did this really happen? Because his imagination, obviously, is just... insane. So, yeah.
And I think that's also kind of why I've seen theories on YouTube and whatnot that this whole movie isn't real.
Yeah. And, like, usually I wouldn't give merit to those type of theories, but, like, kind of got a point.
It kind of holds its own here because part of the reason that they see it is his clothes always match the color of Arkham's walls. And so he's like, man, I'm dreaming that I'm in I'm dreaming that I'm out in the real world, but there's still Arkham limitations almost.
That's kind of really cool. I didn't see that theory, but that's actually really cool.
Yeah, and that's like
that a lot.
Because we see the scene at the end where he kills the lady and is running down the hallway of the asylum.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know if that's real? Do we know, has he ever been, or was he ever out of Arkham? Because we know he's been in there before. And I think that's a big question. Pierce is kind of looking at me like his mind's blown now.
I'm kind of like, I don't know if you guys caught that. I made the cool motion with my hands, just their fists next to my head. Whoop, there it goes. Whoop,
Okay.
Mind's blown.
Yeah, and I think that's a really interesting theory. I don't know if I technically subscribe to it, but
yeah, I don't know. Anyways. Back to the point we started before we got kind of way off track on how it compares to the other Jokers.
Sure.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I think Heath is the best live-action Joker that we've got so far. I don't think you can top it just because, call me old-fashioned, but I like a good Joker versus Batman story.
I know, and I think even though it kind of added that Batman wasn't in this, it also kind of took away from me wanting Batman and Joker to go at it,
I like this Joker. I wanted Batman though, and I think that's more like a me personally thing. I don't think that takes away from the movie that Batman's not in it, per se, but I definitely think it takes away from my personal enjoyment of the movie.
And there are rumors of a Joker too.
Yeah, and I have a really kind of banging theory.
Yeah.
Or not theory, but I'm on a little screen pitch for it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Joker 2 really works as a movie at all in any way.
Neither do I. I think they always say it's that good. Why isn't there a sequel? This is one of those movies where probably don't make a sequel for it.
The exception that proves the rule.
What?
It's like what you said was a fact.
Yeah.
If it's so good, why doesn't it have a sequel?
Sure.
I mean, look at Cars. Cars has 2 sequels. That's because Cars was good.
Or does Cars 2 have a sequel because it's so good?
No, not true.
Just food for thought.
No. But look, there's a lot of great movies with great sequels, but there are some movies that just don't need a sequel per se. And so my thought is, right, if you want to cash grab, because that's what this sequel would be, because let's be honest here, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Most sequels are just cash grabs. They're like, you like this? Let me give you more. It's not really like out of an artistic thing. There are a couple exceptions. If someone goes into a movie and they're like, all right, I got a plan. I want to split this into 3 parts.
Star Wars. George Lucas did say, before you try to argue this point, George Lucas said it was originally supposed to be a 4.5 hour long movie.
Let's talk. I wasn't talking about the old 1970s Star Wars, okay?
That's what I meant.
Yeah, okay. I was talking about like the sequel
Oh,
trilogy.
yeah, that's cash grab.
That's cash grab.
Yeah.
That's a cash grab. You know, am I complaining?
No.
No. Did I give them my money?
Yes. Multiple times.
So many times. Really?
I'm still giving them my money.
All the time. Truly. They have a way of taking everything from me and making me not feel bad at all.
Yeah.
We just cannot stay on topic at all. I'm trying to tell you my really good idea,
sorry.
and you keep interrupting me.
I'm zipping my mouth shut.
You zip that thing shut with a zipper and other items. No, but okay, good idea from me. I say this Joker, Joaquin's Joker, is like old. You know, this is like, because we see young Bruce Wayne in this movie, right? And I think it'd be way more interesting that we see young Bruce Wayne into like Batman Bruce Wayne, like that ripe age, and he's maybe like just starting out his crime fighting career. It's more of like it's not like the Batmans we've been seeing. It's more like, you know, like Batman Begins Batman. You can unzip your mouth.
Okay.
It's more like Batman Begins Batman, where it's like kind of he's really starting, but almost more of like have you seen Arrow season 1?
No.
Okay, well in Arrow season 1 it's like you know, Green Arrow, and he's just starting out, and he's definitely a vigilante. He's just straight up murdering people. I'm not saying that Batman murders people, but in that same like sloppiness, like he's, you know, he's fiddling with his costume. You know, it's not like all set.
He really is new to it.
And then almost out of like, we get that callback of Thomas Wayne saying like, only a coward would hide behind a mask, and it's talking this time. It's referring to like the Batman as a vigilante, and maybe we cut back to like a deranged kid who had like idolized Joaquin Phoenix Joker at the time, and he maybe goes and visits him at Arkham, and then kind of like falls in suit and tries to be like this copycat Joker, and that's the Joker we see come up against the Batman. That's like, you know, Joker never really had a name when he was like fighting Batman, and I think they could do that. Like, this guy's just a complete mystery character, and then he takes the mantle as Joker. He kind of like does the copycat face painting and goes up against Batman. I think that would be a much more effective sequel than another Joker with Joaquin. Even as much as I'd like it, I just don't know where his story goes. I don't know where it needs a sequel.
Yeah, that's where we've kind of seen the story without a Batman to fight, or a hero, essentially, to be Joker's opposition. What do we do?
Yeah, we can't just do that.
Just riot. And then if we do have another hero come in, then we just essentially turned it into a superhero movie that I think they're trying to avoid. Yeah, that's why I think this movie's trying to avoid the normal superhero story.
Well, then I don't think they should go for a sequel at that
point.
I
agree.
Because, like it or not, that is the normal superhero story. It's a sequel.
I don't think this movie's very sequel. Just, you know, the way the movie is done, it's sad. Sad movies kind of struggle with sequels, I feel like.
Yeah, you're not going to get a Marriage Story 2.
No, or, you know, something like that. So, I just really... I think the sequel's a bad idea, but I do like this movie a lot.
I do too. I think it's very good.
So we both kind of established that we do really like this movie, even though we don't want to watch it again.
Yeah, exactly.
But something I do like a lot about this movie is how memeable it is.
And that is a remarkable feat, judging because, like, it's a sad movie.
It is, and sometimes it kind of pisses me off that they meme serious movies.
I love this
love these.
What's your favorite Joker meme, Jago?
So, there for a little bit, there was the Lego City meme. Like, there's a man in Lego City.
Yeah.
Build the helicopter to help. My favorite one is when they were on the talk show, and he said, there's a man in Lego City, and you're laughing. Or a man in Lego City's river, and you're laughing. And... every time I saw it like 3 or 4 times. Every time I lost it laughing.
I mean, there are just some really iconic memes. Joker stares.
Yeah, Joker stares is a great meme.
I don't know, really. That has the same energy as Thanos' car.
Yeah.
Just making no sense. 2 words, and I laugh at it anyways. It's like Gen Z humor is just combining 2 words, putting it over a random picture. Like, it does not... The less related, the better.
Yeah.
It's like you take like a picture of like a wall socket and say, electricity, and I'd laugh.
I'm laughing right now just thinking about it.
But, and I think Joker Stairs has that kind of like that energy to it. It's just a picture of stairs, Joker's dancing, just says Joker Stairs.
Yeah, I think that this really memeable.
Yeah.
And that's one of the greater parts of this movie, honestly.
Because it's a joy to watch when you can laugh along with it. It kind of masks the pain you feel inside.
Yeah.
You know?
Because there are some parts that just bum you out.
Yeah.
Like, there's some scenes, I remember the first time we sat in recliners. Yeah. Just little flex there.
I gotta talk about on that moment for a second.
Okay.
So, me and Jacob are from this tiny little town in Indiana. And, like, our experience in a theater has been, like, those uncomfortable, like, really bad theater chairs.
Kind of like the seats we're sitting in right now.
They're, like, sticky. And then we're going into indie theaters now, and it's just, like, unreal.
They have recliners where you press a button, and like then your legs go up.
Your feet go off the ground.
I know.
And then, like, it's automatic. I could fall asleep in those chairs.
As could I. But I do remember, like, vividly, us watching this movie and a couple scenes. The one scene where he's stretching his shoe out. I remember both of us, like, physically cringing in our seats.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's not fun.
It's not fun. So when you can, like, I guess that's the joy of having it on home movie. You know, you can put that on, get a couple of your pals around, and then instead of, like, cringing, you could be like, ha 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 ha. You know, like...
You know the scene's coming up. Oh, I'm going to go pee real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me.
I did that one time. I was like, oh, man, this scene's going to make me want to throw up. So I'm just going to artfully walk to the mini fridge and act like I'm thirsty.
Or it's kind of like when you're watching a movie with your parents and you've seen it before. And you know that a sex scene's coming up. And you're like, oh, time to go pee.
Classic predicament.
Time to go pee. I'll see you guys.
That has happened to me an unfortunate amount of times.
As to me as well.
It's way worse when you don't think it's coming.
True.
I feel like. And you're like, hey, we should watch this. And then you're both surprised. And you're like sitting there and you don't really want to make eye contact.
Just to continue this off-topic tangent. Like the third day of me working at the library, my boss says, here's this movie, you should watch it, it's pretty good. Is Atomic Blonde. If you haven't seen this movie, you're not missing out. If you have seen it, I'm sorry. But there's lots of naked women.
Sex.
And in the first couple scenes. And I remember I was like, Mom, let's watch this movie. Natasha told me to watch it. It'll be good. And, oh my God, was it bad. My mom was the one who left the room. Not even me.
Yikes. Yikes.
Yeah, so... That's kind of scarred me ever since, but we all got a good chuckle out of it.
Yeah, it's one of those experiences where if you haven't had it...
Watch more movies with your parents, because it'll happen.
Alright, but honestly, guys, I think we're going to have to wrap it here. I know that this is going to be quite the short podcast, but after kind of like reviewing the stuff we've already done, especially like our Birds of Prey podcast, we weren't really happy with it. As like we thought we kind of talked too long and we talked it to death, so we kind of want to just end it when it feels natural.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things we'll improve on from this point on. You know, I know that it's not always going to be an hour podcast.
Yeah,
we're just going to talk until we feel like there's nothing more that we want to talk about, and that way, you know, you're not getting stuff just crammed down your throat of just word vomit.
Yeah,
of us talking about stuff we don't care about. And we're not, you know, we do care about the Joker movie, and it's a good movie.
It's just...
There's not much that we can get into that you don't really see in the movie.
Yeah.
And I think that also it's kind of a sad topic and not the most fun movie to talk about.
Yeah, and especially since it deals with some pretty, like, intense topics. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, I don't think me nor Jacob know about actual, like, mental health problems to an extent where we should be talking to people on the internet about it and presenting our opinions as fact.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna we're gonna like try to kind of refrain from diving into that, which is a big portion of the movie. It's really good in the movie, I think.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I
So
couldn't tell you.
I don't want to say something that's like wrong and then be like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to look back on this podcast and be like, man, we crossed some lines we didn't want to.
Yeah.
I feel like, with all things, it doesn't really matter about the length. It matters about the content.
Yeah.
And as long as we're putting out good content, I don't think the length really matters to us that much.
No, I don't think it does. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, guys, follow us on Twitter, roundtable_pod on Twitter. The link is in the description. It's important that you guys follow us on there because that's when you see updates. That's how you guys vote on what we talk about. It's an important follow. If you care about the podcast even a little bit, just follow the Twitter.
Yeah, and if not, you get a vote on a poll every week, which I love doing.
Yeah, that's just addicting in itself.
Yeah.
You don't even need to care about what's there. Just vote for Into the Tall Grass.
Nope, just press a button.
Just vote for Into the Tall Grass.
Okay.
But yeah, so remember to follow the Twitter. Get excited. Tomorrow we are releasing Clone Wars Quickie Episode 1, covering Episode 1 of Season 7. We're going to be doing these quickie things on a lot of the different shows we watch. We're going to be covering Clone Wars. We're probably going to be covering Mandalorian when that drops. Probably some other shows that we watch just in general.
Yeah, I think whatever we watch, whatever show we'll be watching at the time, if we're both watching it, we'll probably talk about it.
Yeah, because that's more content for you guys and more fun for us.
Yeah.
So, we're going to be starting to release 2 episodes a week, remember, so it's not just going to be Thursdays anymore, it's going to be Thursdays and Fridays.
Yeah, so make sure you check the Twitter. We'll tweet out when we release them. That's the best way to get notified about our videos, other than subscribing, of course.
Subscribing and hitting that bell notification?
Yeah.
Hitting that little bell?
A little cringy self-promotion for us.
You guys should subscribe to the YouTube channel because I like to see the number go up.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's really cool. We are at 32 subscribers now, so thank you guys for the 32 of you that have subscribed. Now, here's a little message for the 32 of you who have. Great job so far. You can do better.
But I don't know about that, but you should get your friends to subscribe.
They should subscribe. What if we got to 50?
That'd be cool.
It'd be cool. That's our next. That's our goal, guys. Not for this week.
No.
That's our goal. Our next little milestone. We're trying to chug along to 50 subscribers.
Yeah. Also, don't forget to check out the Campus Citizen. They have a Twitter, a website, and now an Instagram. And if you want to check those out, the links will be in the bio.
All in the bio. If you want to follow us, good luck.
Yeah, you'll find it. So thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time
on the Roundtable Podcast.